Coaching robotics, how to design a robot. So, you build the StretchBot, you want to figure out how to move on to the next step. I'm telling you right now, if you went to your classroom, you dropped off a bucket of Legos in front of your kids, and you had 10 of them say, each of you build a house, all of them would understand what to do, right? They would all build a house. You'd have 10 different versions, 10 different colors, 10 different shapes and sizes. They could do that. If you then drop the same bucket of Legos, take all those apart, give it to the kids and say, I want you 10 to build a house together, it'd be a little more difficult. They'd have to collaborate, work together, and compromise, but they would end up with a house. And it would probably look different than those first 10 that they built, but they would build a house. That analogy I just gave you is the same thing as a robotics team in designing. You give these robot parts, these VexIQ parts to kids, they're going to figure out how to put them together. They're going to figure out a way to scoop or to modify that claw or to make that arm longer or taller or shorter or more powerful or faster. They're going to figure this stuff out. You don't need to teach those concepts. You can if you'd like, but for those of you who are saying, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know how to do this, then you don't. You give the kids those tools. I didn't know how to code in Java, but I had 25 kids on the programming team, and not a single one of them could ask me for help because I didn't know what to tell them. So that's something that you need to provide resources. You need to point them in directions or maybe find a mentor to help them with these problems. So my suggestions for this year's game: build the StretchBot, have your students come up with ideas to improve that StretchBot, have them prototype with either the extra parts or popsicle sticks, cheap and expensive way to prototype. Try not to start over. Kids are gonna love to do this. I don't like this, and you're gonna rip it apart. Oh, that sucks. Don't take it back, don't take it down apart any further than the drive base. Now I think the drive train or drive base was one of your glossary words. It's the chassis of the robot. Don't let the kids take it back any further than that. And then practice, practice, practice. I've had some coaches tell me that if they have 8 weeks to build a robot before their event, they build for 7, and that last week they don't modify the robot and they just drive. It's a good idea. You gotta have some discipline with that, but you need to just make a week to let the kids drive it to practice the controls.